Hey there, it's Clay. Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to answer another audio question that somebody sent me. So let's check it out.
Hi Clay, my name is Guang. I'm a 24-year-old INFJ. Lately, I've been thinking about some friendships that I used to have and cherish. There have been several friends in my life who I found a deep connection with, but at the time we had a falling out, misunderstanding, or lost touch. I'm wondering if it's worthwhile to seek closure for these or just try my best to drop it. Thank you.
So thanks very much for that question. I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially INFJ personality people. I'm sure there's other personalities that struggle with this as well. But it's this desire to have closure on a relationship, on a friendship. Like, let's say this friendship kind of fizzles out and you're just left wondering. And it's almost like you want to know, well, is this person, do they have a different definition of friendship than I do? And okay, well, maybe I'll just give this person some breathing room. Or is there something wrong? Like, is this person upset and they don't want to be friends? I personally would rather know that than just have to wonder, right? It's uncomfortable. But I've noticed that many other people, they don't want to have that conversation. I think this might go back to attachment styles, actually. Yeah, you can go watch my video on attachment styles. People with avoidant attachment won't want to talk about this. People that are low on avoidance will want to, probably, and they might try to seek closure on these relationships. And, I've often wished that friendships were sort of like romantic relationships in the way that closure is received. Like when you have a romantic relationship, it's very clear what the relationship is. It's like, are you my girlfriend? Yes. Are you my boyfriend? Yes. You have this clearly defined relationship. And when it's over, it's like, we are breaking up. We are no longer that anymore. Or people get married and it's even more like that. It's like, here's this statement of intention, which is, vows when you get married. And you're sort of saying, you're clearly defining what this relationship is. And then if that ends, once you're married, it's a very complicated, involved process to undo that marriage and not be married anymore. And it's very clear when it's over that you are no longer married. Friendships, on the other hand, are very vague in comparison. Like if you have a best friend, it's not like, well, most people anyway wouldn't sit down and be like, well, let's do a statement of intention for this best friend. And then, if we ever decide that we don't want to be best friends, we will sit down and, cancel this contract that we've created. It's sort of a social contract. I mean, that would be kind of ridiculous to do that with friends. So as a result, it's almost like you end up being a bit of a detective, it feels like, with friendships. So your question was related to these past friendships. Like, let's say it's like a few years ago or 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. It kind of, something happened and this friendship ended. And you've always wondered, what went wrong? Was that repairable? Is it repairable still? I think the problem is if you're a low avoidant person, you would probably feel comfortable having that conversation with that person. You could just call them up and be like, hey, what happened? Let's do a post-mortem on this friendship. But if a person is avoidant at all, they're really not going to want to have that conversation. Like that's super uncomfortable for a person with avoidant attachment. And avoidant attachment, just briefly, you should go watch my other video, but avoidant, they don't want to be vulnerable. They're a little bit scared of getting close to people. They're scared of even expressing their own feelings sometimes. So they're not going to want to have that conversation. So is it too late? I would say if it's in the past, I would say maybe it might be a little too late to get the closure that you want. But at the same time, I don't think that you couldn't take a step to try to rekindle the relationship. And like, let's say you reach out to this person and try to, see if you feel like there's any interest in trying to rebuild the friendship. And then at some point, if this person appears interested at all, maybe eventually you could have that conversation about what happened in the past. So it almost kind of feels like you need to do some testing of the situation first. I'm not sure that I would just call somebody up and it was like a while ago, and start questioning them, like what happened with the friendship. And you might appear a little obsessive or almost a little anxious attachment style if you do that. I think if it's like a current relationship and it's in the process of fizzling off and you don't really know what happened, like let's say you had an argument and now something's changed. This person's really, they're different now, or they're just not as engaged anymore. They're not, you ask them questions and the answers are really short and they don't really return the question. I mean, if this person's really important to you, if it was me, I'd probably ask. I'd be like, is there something wrong? Like, is there something that's happened? And I'd probably start vague, start kind of general, and try to hone in on really what might be happening. But again, I'd probably only do that if it was kind of a fresh thing. I think all these kinds of questions, it requires people who have self-awareness and like to self-reflect, which is maybe just a good thing to know about people. If you're somebody like me who has low avoidance, I want to have connections with people. I'm not afraid of being vulnerable with a person, that I want to have a relationship with. It's sort of something I've realized. It just doesn't work, me having close relationships with avoidant people. And I'm okay with that now. And if I start to identify that in a person, it's like, well, I can't change this person. This person is the way they are. And I'm not going to be like a psycho and try to force this person to be something that they're not. So thanks for listening, guys. If you have a question of your own, there's a link below. Go leave me an audio question and maybe I will feature your question on a future video. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.